Tom's Tourney 2025 coming at you with more action all weekend long. We've been doing it here. Thanks for tuning in on ULTI.TV. We are into the pre-quarter rounds, into the starting stages of the bracket. We've picked out the most sumptuous contest amongst those pre-quarters. From Noisy-le-Sec, a suburb outside of Paris, Iznogood taking on Berlin's own Wall City. This one a clash of some prominence with teams in the Open Division on the European club scene. My name's Stefan Rapazzo, alongside Benjamin Reese to bring you the action. Benji, must be excited for this. We're getting into the brackets. I know this is when you get stoked, as do I.
See, I'm going to have to call you up on something. You say it all weekend long. Steph, it's only Friday.
But tournaments are normally on weekends, Ben.
Normally, yes. But yes, you, if you've only just joined us, where have you been? We had the Under-24 showcase between Italy and Belgium on Wednesday evening. A full day of streaming yesterday as well. So you've got plenty to catch up on demand on our YouTube channel. And you know, Wall City, one of the top sides in the game in Europe at the moment, and Iznogood. I feel like they've had some success here in the past, Steph.
And let me go back into the memory banks. 2022. What was I doing at that time? I was a bench boss of the Iznogood team, and they had a great run through Tom's. We won it. We're beating Moon, then Clapham, then La Faute on our way to a championship, and it was huge. And Izno have had some great games and have played really well at Tom's throughout their history. They are on a rebuild since that 2022 World season. They've got a whole bunch of youth players in and involved in this team, and they're sharpening up quickly. Looking around the Red Army here, they are ready to go, and they've certainly got some veterans at the top. Gibier, Van Riech, Nguyen, Simon, and amongst a few others, a young captain in Luca Bouchon. But they're really trying to band together here and find the cohesion they need with this mostly youth-based roster from Noisy-le-Sec.
Yeah, and then if you look at Wall City, they're without some of their usual big guns as well. Third-year Rogers is injured this weekend, so he's just in a coaching capacity. You've got neither of the pools, business or party, available. You don't have Phil Kay, you don't have Hartley Greenwald. There's a number of names missing from the Wall City roster as well.
Konrad Schlor, of course, one of the biggest names. And part of that is Germany's World Games practice or training camp is on this weekend. So that accounts for about half of the names you said, maybe a bit more. And the others, well, they're not here and reasons unbeknownst, but not a full roster. I do think this game, with all things we've mentioned, balances out quite well. I think this is going to be a hard-hitting affair. Izno pushed Italy under 24 to universe point, and Italy under 24 have been sensational, undefeated in the tournament, only lost in the exhibition game, but they played their last game against Clapham. If they could have won that, they could have gone straight in or got a more favorable match in these pre-quarters, not straight in. But Clapham did handle them 13-8 in the end there.
Yeah, and Iznogood win would have seen them match up against Gentle. But as it is with a defeat, yes, it's Wall City for Iznogood, and Clapham will face Gentle instead. The other pre-quarters, we have Grit taking on BFD Red Bulls, while Solibang from Sham in Switzerland, they have Rat Track from Bern, so an all-Swiss affair in one of our pre-quarters.
Yeah, that's it. You've got them all now.
I know what I'm doing, Steph.
You
sometimes.
Certainly do, and so that means our 4 teams that go straight through to the quarters will be...
Mooncatchers, of course. Italy under 24s, as you mentioned, who topped Group B with Iznogood. Czech, who finished top of Group C. We streamed their huge victory over Wall City yesterday, and to be honest, Czech have been imperious. No one's played them closer than 7 points so far this week. And the Belgium U24s taking up the final spot as well.
This is Matt J, the first one into the comments. He has been here all weekend. Love seeing you there. Everybody else, feel free to join and follow the prompts. Philip Steffen has a possession. Vendeholm the target, but knocked away. And Izno will get a break chance to start the game. Good D by Lamar. Straight back to Wall City. Linnemanistons goes around. He gets that one into Allers. And then back to Ben Joseph. Allers tests the backhand to see what kind of reaction he gets. Then gets it around to Jorgensen, the speedster from Latvia. Linnemanistons back to Jorgensen's. And again, no, they don't re-exchange. Ben Joseph leads Vendeholm. There Izno got a turn, but Wall get it right back and cash in for a hold.
They would have much preferred to do it cleanly, but they got it back, and they got it back pretty quickly. And something that's interesting is because Wall City are missing a lot of the big names at the top end of that roster, you're forcing players who usually have smaller roles to bear a brunt of the load. We've seen Vendeholm kind of step up a bit more. Ben Josef is usually one of their D-line handlers. He's been brought over to play a bit more O-line this week, and you saw him there throwing the assist as well. This is how they got it back. Vendeholm immediately with the tip, and Ned Garvey, who's playing offensively this weekend as well. He was there just to collect, just to make sure, and at the second time of asking, it was very calm from the Berliners, and Ben Josef just sits that one out into space for Vendeholm for the score. A prolific funky ball player is Vendeholm.
Funky ball. Oh, I know funky ball.
Yes,
CFC.
you do.
Well, I mean, I know it from CFC,
yeah.
I'm sure.
What's rule 1, Steph?
Knock the bottles down?
No, protect your beer.
Yeah.
Which is very important, given the standard of the beer here in Bruges.
Oh, yes. Simon. Wow, testing. That's not Simon. In fact, that's Dauvois. And he goes middle to Nguyen, one of the veterans here. Perus. And again, laterally from one sideline to the next. They get the under from Ruyard. Ruyard goes back. Dauvois. The deep cut goes, but no throw. Bouchon comes under. Bouchon fires and finds Nguyen. Nguyen puts Ruyard in the corner. Beautiful finishing throw by Quavu Nguyen, the vet.
I really like Ulysse Ruyard. Big fan of his game. He's come up big in clutch moments. Cast your mind back to 2023, the World Beach Ultimate Championships on Huntington Beach in California. They had that rollicking upset of the US in the semi-final that I think had 3 turnovers all game. Do you remember who caught the game-winning goal?
Well, I do, and it was certainly not intended for Ulysse Ruyard. It came out of Maeva Kuzi's hand looking for Stanguenec, I believe, and it went right over his head. But Ruyard kept the jets on, and it was a phenomenal layout bid to win that game by Riyad.
Yeah, coming up big in the clutch. You need players who come big at the biggest moments, and he's proven he can do that. And Wall City, you will need to be aware of that threat.
I'll tell you, Ulysse Riyad, 2022, played Worlds with Izno, but when we won Tom's tourney, he was not yet on the team. But the recruitment tape that I ended up getting was of Ulysse playing at that very same Tom's, getting two layers, and has a French team, and I'm going to follow up with that. I do forget. But a team in Div 2, and he got a couple of layout Ds that got filmed on a sideline phone, and those were sent to me, and they're like, we want this guy. And I was like, all right, let's give him a look. And very happy we did. Linna Manistins takes that one in, lands on the doorstep, and easy finish goes to Stefano Calza for the goal. And Wall City answer back 1-1.
As well as kind of their existing players stepping up into big roles, it's interesting to see Wall City integrate newer players onto the roster, a bit more of an international feel perhaps than there has been with certain previous iterations. Although having said that, I think Wall City have always kind of attracted players from around Europe and around the world. You know, Berlin's a very hip, happening city. I am reliably informed. I've never actually been. And they play, yeah, I think they play an exciting style of offense. They're not afraid to air it out, and I think that attracts a lot of players. As well as the banging techno music.
Yeah.
I don't get it, right, but they seem to love it.
I quite like it. Gets me all excited and fired up. I've noticed one of Izno's top players, Félix Prior-Martin, not in jersey. He does have cleats on, but not in jersey, so seemingly out of the game. Bouchon.
Maybe he just lost it on the sideline.
Fires deep. And boom! The layout goes. Gaspar Caligaro gets himself properly horizontal to take that one home.
I mean, Bouchon, he really rips this, doesn't he? And he tells Caligaro, kick on the afterburners and go and get it, son. That's exactly what he does. It's over the head of Stefan Kuhn, and he can't really track it because he has to keep going full pelt to put the pressure on Caligaro. And because he's going full pelt, he doesn't track the disc, so he can't put too much pressure at properly going up and locating it. He just has to be close enough for Caligaro to lose focus. But it's a proper ping, this, from Luca Bouchon, who is, yeah, certainly not shy of trying to produce a big play. And he got one there from Gaspar Caligaro.
Loved the finish on that. That layout was the stuff dreams are made of. Bouchon sent him just far enough back to his receiver. And that's the thing with when you got a line full of youngsters that are all trying to play up. You can, you know, you got to keep asking more and more of them and see how much you can get out of them. And everybody in the Izno Nation, the Maison Rouge, pretty pleased with what they just got out of Caligaro there.
The Red House.
That's exactly it.
See, I know les oignons, as they say.
Nailing it, Benj, as always. Allers goes to Vendeholm. Now into the hands of Chan. Back to Vendeholm. Bid was awfully close there. Calza did a great job to hang on. Jørgensen.
Stoppage downfield, away from the play. A bit of contact maybe between, trying to work out, there's Gibier and Chan perhaps.
Gibier, the true veteran of the team, rolling with 44 years of age.
He doesn't look a day over 43.
It's so nice of you to say. Calza sends Vendeholm, lead with way too much. And a big chance here for Iznogood.
I think the throw was on. Arles just wasn't expecting it. At least certainly not expecting it with so much pace. Could have maybe put a bit more finesse and backspin on that just to get it to hang and give Arles more of a chance to get it, just in case, as it proved to be, he wasn't quite ready for that to come up. Lemaire will bring it in from the front of the end zone, looking to get the game's first break.
Well, it says Lemaire. You're reading right, but that is Lemaire. I thought for a second you're reading right, but that's Arthur Udomfunk. But they just have a similar look. That is Lemaire, and he goes to Davy. Now the aforementioned Gibier, Gignac as he's known, dumps back.
Why is Gignac?
Apparently a French footballer who he resembles.
Gignac. Okay, yeah, fair enough. I get that.
Or not even he resembles. There's the goal. Nice shot, Coquebert with the goal as Iznogood, but apparently because he eats a lot, as does Gibier.
They're saying he's a big lad, essentially.
Yeah, he's a big lad with a big appetite.
Hey, I'm sure you can sympathise, Steph. By the way, I'm pretty sure Coquebert was not the intended target for this throw. I'm just going to put that out there in the same way that Iznogood just put this out there. And in the end, it didn't really matter, because whether it's meant for you or not, just the trust there from Lemaire. Firing the flick towards the end zone, 2-on-1, and Davy wisely gets the call there from Coquebert to leave it alone. And that puts Iznogood in front for the first time this game. They've got a 3-2 lead.
In the driver's seat. They are here for all the stuff this weekend. They do have some ambition to be playing for points in the qualifying, the EUCS, the rankings. However, they understand if they win, they're going to be on the side of a lot of national teams and won't be able to. But if they lost, they would be able to have more qualifying games. But
the qualifying games wouldn't be as good necessarily because you're playing against worse teams.
They quickly said, okay, yes, as much as we would like to get as many qualifying points as possible here, winning is more important. Certainly, once it was on stream, they said every notion of not winning was very quickly erased.
Correctly.
Yes. Oh, Riedlo has a sitter just out of the hands. Simon picks up quick. Just outside the end zone, and they get another D in the nick of time there. Great takeaway by Vilekis.
I'm not quite sure what they saw there, because that throw did not look open to me. And after a real aberration of a drop from Riedlo, Wall City this time do not want to turn it over short. They're looking for Riedlo deep, and he can't quite climb the ladder.
Yeah, he throws his hands up, wondering what's going on right now. Very un-Riedlo-like, but he is human after all.
Yeah, he's usually so rock solid is the thing. And everybody makes mistakes, sure, but at times Riedlo seems metronomic. This time you can see actually halfway through he begins to slow up a little bit in case he overruns it, and in the end he's trying to catch the disc as it's right above him and he can't quite have the attack, but Izno are going to surrender it right back as a freebie. This point's getting a little sloppy.
It is. Lemaire just totally missed the lateral cut from Quinton, and now it's Wall City once again with the disc. Up line comes and hits. Another one to Riedlo. He's going to be sure from here on out in this point. You can bet on that. Into the hands of Brand, a South American player with monster quads. And there is the goal. The marathon point is over. Stefan Kuhn on the reception.
Yeah, that certainly was nowhere near as clean as Wall City or Iznogood would have liked, because Iznogood got the turns, but they weren't necessarily great turns. They weren't blocks that they really earned. The first was just a simple drop. The second one you could say, well, we put good pressure at least on the huck, but the two turns back were equally as cheap, if not cheaper. And at the second time of asking, this is a really clever throw, actually. Sees the spot in the zone and is able to lift the flick over all the traffic to find Cooney in the back of the end zone.
3 apiece. Break in the back pocket for Izno, as Ned Garvey gives a little disc twirl and checks the wind.
Yeah, it looks like rather than going with strict O and D lines, it feels like Wall City are going with the strategy of having a couple of different lines that they'll just alternate between.
Do you like that strategy?
think when you're certainly not at full strength, I totally understand it a bit more, because what's the point of training an O-line if when most of your big players come back, that's not going to be the O-line? You want to train groups of players that are likely to play together anyway.
Yeah, that's the point of having an O-line, is all season long cohesion and consistency on the lines with one another.
Yeah, getting the repetitions in.
Pull reception, covered up well. Devoir finds Perus. Nico Perus gets it out. And a nice throw there by Caligaro to Ria. Nice step from Quavu, and they go way back to Fenrich.
If Fenrich has got the disc, it usually means he's open deep. You can throw it.
Ria stands up, was in a second of power position. Now they go back to Fenrich again.
Interesting keeping him in the backfield. Maybe that's a clear plan from Wall City. Force him underneath. Don't let him strike deep where he has such a good turn of pace. Really clever switch peeled off there as well to prevent that.
I've said it once, I'll say it again. I still believe that he's the fastest player in the European game on grass. I would love to see a couple races with the other contenders, but absolute flash of a runner. Bouchon sends it. The company comes, but it is Fenrich. We didn't need to use the legs too much there. Just held his ground and weighted that disc in.
Fenrich was not massively open. This is a sweet throw from Bouchon, who is a real shooter. And you know what they say about shooters, Steph?
Shooters got to shoot.
They do got to shoot. Which is exactly what he does. We've seen Bouchon for the past couple of seasons suit up with Gentle, of course, out of Ghent here in Belgium. This time he's back with his hometown squad. And, I mean, what a clever throw this is. The inside-out backhand with a lovely little bit of loft. So take it over Philippe Stefan and just drop it into Fenrich's breadbasket.
Coach Desmarais, there's Coach Lancrete. And Coach Desmarais, who works with Ine, in the chat's wondering if the winner of this game plays Belgian under-24, and that's exactly why Ine Lancrete has pulled up on the sideline. The answer is yes.
Always does her research.
Yes, the winner of this game will go on to play Belgium under-24.
I say always prepared. I'm not sure she was prepared for what happened when we were placed into the room next to hers at EUC.
No, she was not prepared for that, Benji.
Thunder and lightning, which I think you can probably work out why they call us that.
And it's
not because we're quick.
Well, let's see if anybody knows why the wonderful duo that they are listening to right now, Steph and Benji, have been known as Thunder and Lightning.
Slap of hands from your former charge there,
yeah.
Quavu Nguyen.
Quavu Nguyen, one of the captains when I was at the bench. Super happy to see him. All these guys, it's love. Simon, but doesn't do enough. Riedlo keeps the toe. It was a great bid, but Wall City remain in possession. Super dump to the young Colombian, and then right back to the Czech, Riedlo. Inside, Riedlo again. That one in the chin, but well caught by Smith. And around to Vilekis. Smith, and has that one spin off the finger. Picked up by Lemaire. That shot looks like it's going to do it. It does. Stays in that far corner. Amaury Davy with the goal, and in true Bruges fashion, waffles delivered to the commentary booth as that goal hits.
Yeah, 5-3 now for Iznogood. They are rocking and rolling out here. Smith, you could tell he didn't want to throw that. He was trying to holster it. The disc just evidently wanted to be free, and it fluttered harmlessly to the turf. I mean, how often does this happen? It can't be particularly often. And there's the split second as well where he's just got his hand on his head thinking, how can I let that happen? And it's really smart by Davy because he realizes, I can go here.
I got no mark.
And he does. And Devoir, he makes him work for this one. He really does throw him right to that far sideline. But there is enough space for him to keep his feet in bounds. And that is the 5-3 Izno lead.
Yeah, Izno are firing right now. Bounces are going their way. And a couple errors by Wall City that Izno have found a way to capitalize on. That one the most recent. What do you call that, Benj, the turnover that Smith just had there? Do you got a word for it?
Bad.
Yeah, I call it a flub.
Yeah, that's not a bad.
When it just kind of, it's like partially like a fake and it comes spitting out on the fake.
A squib, maybe?
Yeah, squib. A flub. Good word as well, squib. Jurgensen's about 5 meters out. Waits for Ben Joseph. He motions to the wide side of the field. Then goes back to Jurgensen's, the Latvian, and straight back to Ben Joseph. Low, but handled and found Kalza for the goal.
I think Wall City's spacing there in the end zone can be improved because the way they were setting up, it did allow Iznogood to poach off a little bit and gum into those spaces and really stop the potential end zone options. But Wall City, rather than force it, they did the right thing. We'll work it around the back. We'll stay patient and we'll try and bait you into something. And you see it here again on the final pass because they go wide here through Ben Yosef, finding Venderholm outside the end zone. And Ben Yosef continues his cut into the end zone. It draws the defenders to the front, and that opens up the space around the side to the back. And Venderholm gets the slightly OI flick to Kalza for the score.
So 5-4, the score line. A break in the back pocket for Izno and the 1-goal lead. They will come out on 0 in the second half. So a strong showing thus far, but so much game to play still. And the pull sent down. Nico Perus adjusts to collect. First throw to Nguyen, and now Fenrich quickly back to Nguyen. Quavu fakes the backhand, well covered up. Ruyard catches, but Riedlo was in front. Heck of a catch.
Came mighty, mighty close to that.
Good concentration, all things considered, as Fenrich goes back to Ruyard in the corner. Out to Perus and Udomfong. Back to Ruyard. Quavu, Nguyen to Ruyard. He's got a very boss-like mustache now too. I like it even. I like him even more with the stash. Oh.
And he takes the timeout on stall 8.
And that is an emergency timeout. You know, I hate an in-game timeout, but if you're ever going to take one, it is good, and it's simply to save the possession. You've got absolutely nothing, high stall count. Well, now all they got to set up is a 1-second pass here.
Yeah, and you only get one timeout a game as well, so you have to be judicious as to when you use them. And Ruyard gets the disc in the center, and he waits and he waits and he doesn't see anything, and he has to burn the one timeout they have.
Well, with their burnt timeout, we'll take a break too. We'll be back with more action here from Tom's Tourney. We live in a world where everything can be referenced online. Imagine if the greatest moments in our sport were never filmed. Eurodisc continues to do what it takes to make free-to-watch live streams a reality. Let's leave nothing to the imagination. We'll consume the action live. And we'll support those that helped to make it happen. If it wasn't streamed, it didn't happen. Eurodisc.
What a grab! Oh my God! Somehow they do it!
What? So I may have accidentally told some misinformation. The disc's not coming in on stall 8. It's coming in on stall 9, Steph.
Okay. I'd just hug it. I'd go hammer to the end zone immediately. I'd set up with one person isolated in the back and just hammer it and just ensure field position at least.
Is that what you tell ULTI.TV to do here?
Yeah. It's exactly what I would tell them to do. They're probably going to set up a little dump shuffle.
Yeah, I somehow doubt that that's what they do. I also definitely doubt that's what you'd have told him to do.
Benji, keep calling me out. But you're probably right.
So we can see how they're setting up off this timeout. 4 downfield. Udomfong in space on this near side. Got a reset behind and a spare handler. Kwavu Nguyen on the far side. Lead Logitech in, and Riyad is going to get rid of this immediately.
Does the job to get Fenris, and they're out of trouble. Bouchon gets wide open Udomfong. Udomfong back to Kwavu Nguyen. And now Perus back to Nguyen. Udomfong on the doorstep, leads, hits, and the toe tap works for the goal. Little kick spike there for good measure as Devois cashes in the goal, but they're talking about it, Benj. Maybe not so cut and dry.
Yeah, maybe with the benefit of video replay, we can get a second look at it, but it was very close.
Here it is. As Kwavu turns, leads to Udomfong, and here's the throw.
Oh, we get Finnied.
We got a lot of heads in the shot. We can't see from the video.
If only we had some sort of PSA to tell people not to get too close on the sidelines. Oh, wait. We do.
I guess this is the right option. And Udomfong throws immediately. Bouchon was there. Slips on the loose dirt at the back and drops the throw.
Bouchon will want that back, but it was not an easy reception.
No, not at all.
Wool City with a chance to get their first break and bring us level. If not yet on serve.
Vilekis gets the flow going, and now Riedlo leads. That was bobbled but caught by Kuhn. And that went right into the back of Devois in a short field now. Fenris.
Won't get any easier Ds than that because he didn't even have to do anything. Oh, now Nguyen maybe with a case of the dropsies. It is contagious, you know, Steph.
Yeah, once you get chopping, Bouchon milks. And that one, there's no doubt about it, is no good. Extend the lead 6-4 here over Wall City. Just more than 30 minutes into this game.
Yeah, it seems like the dairy is indeed open, and Lucas Bouchon, on this case, is the chat who got le crème. I know it wouldn't be le crème, it'd be like le crème, right?
You got it, Benji.
still, that one, again, they've had a couple of these Wall City where the disc just doesn't quite come out in the way they anticipated, and that was Nguyen with the almost fumble. And Fenry, she was very deep in the World Games tryout process. Of course, we're still waiting for confirmation of the actual roster. He just puts this on a line, lets Bouchon go out and chase it, and he hops, skips, and jumps it into the end zone for the score, and 6-4. Haven't heard the halftime jingle.
Have not. Should be coming momentarily.
Apparently it has come, so it will be half at 7.
Okay. We have had the jingle. We've got one of the TDs, Boris Vanderlook, alongside. So right now, nothing in question. Everything can be immediately referenced and confirmed, which we love. And this pole being brought in by Ben Joseph.
Going to get it at the brick mark.
And he'll have Jorgensen's and Chan on the flanks. Throws immediately, and it's taken away in the lane. Great up by the number 39 shirt for Iznogood.
Just expert awareness there from Izno.
And the layout couldn't go because it would have been into a pack of Wall City players. And a first throw turn for Izno after the generated D. Vendeholm to Ben Joseph. Ben Joseph goes around Vendeholm. Motions for the hammer, now trying to isolate, tightly marked, but gets a bailout in Calza. All the way across to Chan, and another turnover. They will not take it, I think, wisely. It would have been a 3-on-1, so they slow things down. Now Gibier all alone in the backfield. Simon, as Izno set up their end zone set, and mishandled there by Quinton. And it's back again, getting a little sloppy out there once again, Benji.
Goes up nice and early, gets position, and just doesn't catch it. Did all the hard work beforehand, and it just bounced out of his grip.
Ben Joseph goes back to Jorgensen's.
I feel like Wall City need a bit more verticality to the offense at the moment because it feels quite compressed. The deep cuts are going, but then don't feel like a legitimate option at this point in time.
Garvey, one of ULTI.TV's own, no stranger to the mic, helped out in Copatanga last week as well as many times along the road.
The narwhal, they call him. There's the deep option.
Sent Linnamanistons in front. Linnamanistons takes strong over top of Quinton, and Wall get one back.
He's not wide open, but he has position, and Garvey gets a throw out early enough, hangs it up there, and Linnistons is a big guy and says, go up and get it. I back you here in this matchup against Quinton, and he's right to as well, because it really does the trick. Finally, the offense feels like it has more of a range of throws, and even if it wasn't, you know, the most pinpoint, precise deep shot from Garvey, it was very effective because he let the big man go up and get it, and that brings Wall City to back within 1.
Yeah, it was not wide open, but because of how wide-shouldered he is, he feels a bit more open. Linnamanistons, I still remember Linnamanistons in CFC playing on the beach. Won that tournament playing with the local team, and he was an unsung hero there, doing a lot of, you know, getting open late.
Last year or the year before?
Last year.
He was playing with El
Contrato.
I've tried to wipe that from my memory.
Yes, fine, Benji.
That's not true. I'm using it as fuel for this year.
You better believe it.
You're damn right.
We'll be back.
We should start recruiting.
And Bouchon waiting for Fenrich to come back. Doesn't have to wait long. Bouchon went deep The throw goes across.
Lucas probably also trying to secure his spot on that team this year.
Udomfong with a heck of a play to keep that alive. Udomfong, one of the captains of the French mixed under-24 team.
I'm so looking forward to seeing them in Logroño.
Bouchon goes around and hits Devois. Bouchon gives an up line and the seam throw hits Fendrich. Fakes the sideline forehand, gives the nod and back to Devois. Fendrich again. Leads, a lot of air under it. Beautiful throw. Is he in? He is. And that makes it 7-5, and I believe that's a half taker because of time.
Yeah, it will indeed be a 7-5 halftime lead for Izno, and even better because they get to the disc to receive the second half as well.
That's what Boris said. We're at 37 minutes. It's up to you guys to decide still, but that's what we were told.
They just clear out this handler set really well. Izno give themselves space to run these big lead passes. That one, he sits it up towards the break side, and the defender closes, but he can't close quickly enough on Rémi Devois. Seen Fenrich demonstrate a lot more in the backfield with, you know, Iznogood roster that's been in transition the past couple of years. You need the veterans, the leaders to step up, and sometimes, you know, they'll play not necessarily out of position, but, you know, they'll make themselves useful in whichever way you need to in order to best fit who else is on the roster. Looks like we're going to take half at 8 here then, Steph.
Yeah, I think they just dismissed it. I'm looking over at the speaker. I see it's been turned the other way once again. And these teams that are warming up there are really interfering with the competition now.
But yeah, I mean, we're 38 minutes into the game now, so half is definitely long since gone. But it doesn't matter because the teams out there seem to be happy enough.
Yeah, two captains agreeing is all that it takes for anything to continue. Philip Steffen fires deep, and it's not going to hit. Izno will have a chance to take half if they can walk it up the field now.
A couple of players in there, and the layout comes from Kautzer, I think, and he can only just tip it even further into the distance. It was a rocket out of the right arm, and in the end there was too much pace on it. The fact that there were two wall players there, in the end, they got in each other's way a little bit and made the shot a bit dicier than it needed to be. They didn't set that up, I think, in the most efficient way. Interesting, by the way, Gaspar Caligaro has had some ice on his knee on this near sideline. So I wonder if we'll see him out again in the second half of this game, or whether he's just going to err on the side of caution here.
I've always said if you're icing, you're done. If you have an in-game injury and you want to manage it, you keep it warm, you keep it loose until the game's over. But if you're icing, that should be game over.
You don't mean that if you get Smirnoff iced, you're done?
Well, no. I'm living proof of that, Benji. You've seen it before.
You were done long before that, Steph.
Lamar goes forward and hits again. And the around. Too much? No, it isn't. Oh. What a trailing edge bid. And back to Simon.
I never liked the trailing edge big, but it worked.
Wow. And, oh no, the preservation of greatness there.
Well, we've had 4 or 5 of those in this game. Just the throw that comes out in no way the manner in which it was intended.
Well, that was that, all right.
I wonder if that's it's a hot, sunny day here in Bruges, and I wonder if you can chalk that D up to the suntan lotion manufacturer of your choice.
Yeah, we've heard that in the sun cream moment. This is Matt J. We also got Sam Murphy picking up what we're putting down here, Benj. He knows what the CFC Revenge Tour is all about.
And a timeout here from Wall City because they know they can ill afford to let Izno escape even further into the distance.
Especially with the pending halftime still somehow in front of us. So at 7-5 Wall City's disc, we're going to take a short break here. We'll be back with more action from Tom's.
Here we go. This year, London Invite is bigger than ever, with 8 teams in the Open Division, 8 teams in the Women's Division, and for the first time, a full 8-team mixed division.
With 5 World Games teams, USA, Canada, Australia, Germany, France.
As well as the Tokai Super Team, is sure to be the ultimate showcase of the best in the world.
More teams, more streams, more stars, more ultimate.
More excitement.
You're not going to want to miss London Invite 2025.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
(7-5) Izno over Wall City. Wall with the timeout after a couple turnovers. They went end zone to end zone there, scoring chances on either side. And Wall get it back. Benji, it's been a great game thus far. The half has been delayed beyond reason to some end, but again, that's the way these things roll out. Captains agree, and with the jingle muffled, we are going to have a very late half in this game if we get there.
Can see as well, by the way, thank you to the wonderful staff and crew here at Tom's Tourney who do a superb job all round, but we do get looked after us as well. And they are re-pegging out the player line on this near side, which is greatly appreciated.
Greatly appreciated.
They better respect it, or I'll shake my fist angrily at them.
You start shaking, boy.
Why I oughta.
Boy, I oughta.
Horizontal set coming off this timeout. Very orthodox looking here from Wall City.
And Ben Joseph to initiate. Vanderholm to Ben Joseph in the end zone. Fires deep. Garvey the target. It's fading towards the sideline, but will stay in. An interesting route defensively to try and catch up. Never gave himself a chance. Garvey a meter away, shovels to Vanderholm, and Wall City march down mostly on one big throw from Ben Joseph.
Just get it out of the hands any way you can for Ned Garvey, because all you need to do is make sure you release it to avoid the handover, and the goal is as good as there into the hands of Vanderholm. Yeah, it's the big hug, as you mentioned there, from Yol Ben Yosef. JBJ really opens things up. And I think the Wall City offense has looked better once that deep element has returned to the offense, because there was a good spell of 4 or 5 points. Everything was so compressed and so congested, and it made it tougher to get clean throws off. And Iznogood was stealing some free turns, just with Wall City struggling to navigate through all the traffic.
Struggling with their way through. Iznogood now. A chance to receive and take half. Benj, we're going to be pushing 50 minutes and a half take. And I blame it on one speaker turn.
We'll find that speaker turner, Steph.
We need a security cam just on that. Nguyen to Perus and back again.
Interestingly, defensively, Wall City junking it up slightly, not starting in a strict one-to-one matchup. Instead, just trying to sit in spaces and then wait till there's a bit more movement from Iznogood. And the players you'll match up against would those would naturally develop based on where players, the spaces they cut into.
Pick called upfield, and disc remains in the hands of Kwavu Nguyen. Disc is in. Bouchon goes up line immediately. And a fair bit of contact there. Riedlo accepts that he ran into him. There is running out of space there. It was a difficult catch in any sense. Riedlo made it a bit more difficult.
Yeah,
crashing in.
I understand the bid, but I did not like it. I did not think it was there. But Luca Bouchon clearly was expecting something from a teammate that never developed, and he throws it right to Wall City.
Jacks it deep, looking for Riedlo. Bouchon gets a tap. No second effort after the Mac. And no call there. A little bit of contact again.
It wouldn't have surprised me to see the foul call come out there from Riedlo. Not because, you know, like okay, I'll get one back, but because I felt there was a little bit of contact there. But, yeah, Riedlo evidently fine with that and says, you know what, I still should have had it. Is no disc.
I admire the no calls, I must say. Sometimes they're not the right calls always, but it's a toughness thing.
Yeah, I think sometimes players don't want to call fouls in case they get seen as quote-unquote soft. But if you think you've been fouled, you should call it.
Absolutely. Honor the game, your team, and the rules. But
because if not, that line just gets ramped up higher and higher and the physicality gets pushed. And I think that's where eventually injuries happen. But yeah, some teams certainly don't mind playing a little bit more argle-bargle.
Bouchon and Riedlo have had a lot of attention on both sides of this matchup thus far. Bouchon goes across field to Ruyard, and now Udom Font quickly into the hands of Bouchon. He gets an upfield. Fenrich with a disc. Bouchon again. Bouchon quick out of hand and gets it right back, looking at the end zone meters away. Can they take this half? Fenrich. High goes to Bouchon, and that is now halftime. 8-6. And we're 48 minutes into the game.
Just a little toss towards that far side where Bouchon has the position, muscles out, and then a little toe tap at the front to secure the 8-6 half-time lead. That Bouchon-Riedlo matchup was a fun one to watch, those two really going at it hammer and tongs. In the end, Bouchon gets the best, although they actually had peeled that matchup off at the end just to pass off a switch to prevent a quick, easy score on that far sideline. There's not long left in this game, but based on the first half, Iznogood, I think good value for that 8-6 scoreline.
Absolutely good value. Here's more from that Bouchon-Riedlo. I do think Bouchon got him there, and Riedlo could well have called that foul. Certainly watching it the second time, and now watching as the Maison Rouge find their way into the end zone. It's Fenrich to Bouchon, who did a whole lot of work there. Awkward landing there. Hope his lower body joints are doing all right after that
He loves throwing himself around. He won't mind.
We're going to take a short break. We'll be back with second half action.
We are Hive Ultimate, a group of players and coaches from all over the world working together to progress the next generation of Ultimate strategy. We've helped top teams win world championships and new teams introduce the sport in a fun and inclusive way. Search for Hive Ultimate on YouTube to learn more about our cutting-edge strategies and to see analysis of world-class teams. To find out what Hive can do for your team, head over to our Patreon page where you can gain access to our exclusive drills and session plans and to join our worldwide community of coaches. Get ahead of the curve with Hive Ultimate.
8-6. Izno over top of Wall City right now and receiving the pull to start the second half very late in the game to be starting the second half, 51 minutes in.
Yeah, at the moment the wall is being well and truly clambered over by Iznogood. And again, they're junking around at the front here. And I think they're just trying to slow Iznogood down and make them hesitate, make them second guess and double cut and see if they can get a turnover as Ruyard comes through into the backfield to help out.
Ruyard gets going the other way. Bouchon gets the disc. hucking threat when he has it. Lemaire to Bouchon. And that's the right option with Fenrich on the chase. Beautiful throw to the exact right target.
I think Fenrich didn't even get out. Well, I'm not sure. I was going to say, I don't think he got out of third gear. I don't think he got into third gear there. They tried to pass off a switch on the backfield. They were slow to do so, and that gave Luca Bouchon a free huck to Benji Fenrich. And that seems like a bad defensive strategy, Steph.
Yeah, it is indeed. I always said when I was coaching Izno that if Benji has started his first step towards the end zone, please try and throw it as far as you and fast as you can to the back of the end zone. Don't hang it up. Don't float it. Just let that boy run.
I did see someone overthrow him when they played Clapham earlier.
Really?
Genuinely.
It's rare. I'll say.
And it wasn't close. They way overthrew him, and I was like, I don't think I've ever seen that before. This one was much more well measured, though.
Yeah, beautiful throw. Excellent run on. Made to look easy. And 9-6 now, or 8-6. No, that should be 9-6.
Should be 9-6 indeed.
And that's a tough spot for Wall. Nothing is over in this game of Ultimate until that last point is in. But definitely a tight-quartered, pointy end of this game for Wall City. They're going to need to be very good to dig out of this hole.
Travel called.
That one over to Riedlo. Riedlo goes low and around. Zions. And that one taken away. Izno will pick up and play.
Good position now, 10-6. 4 points up this late in the game. He feels not insurmountable, but not far off. That throw just into the wrong shoulder, hits Brand's inside shoulder rather than his outside shoulder.
Yeah, he'd want that one back, Zions, as the Reds get going. Hammer to Gignac. Gibier. Oh, I thought he overthrew, but
me too.
He saw the other player. Now Gibier to Udomfonk. And it looks very much like Izno will be playing in the quarters. It's 10-6. I reiterate, it is not over, but all of the momentum suggests as much.
What were you saying your offensive plan for Izno earlier was? Just hammer it to the end zone? Well, this wasn't quite to the end zone, but it wasn't far away on a high stool. It looks different as well, just because you've got the lefty angle, which in a way I think actually eased it going with the wind here. And then outside, yeah, they tried a couple of times to tow it in at the front line, but if you're not sure, you do the right thing. Just make sure you don't drop it. How many times have you seen people try to tow it in the end zone and think more about the feet than the catch? There's the 5-minute jingle being played in the background. And yeah, in the end, though, just a simple pop from 2 long-time Izno players. One significantly longer than the other, it has to say.
Yes.
Gibier,
Gibier, as his real name is, has been there since the beginning of time.
And Udomfong, who certainly, while not, again, U24, as you mentioned, going to be playing with France Mix, one of the captains of that side in Spain this summer. But he's still been with Izno a fair few cycles
for
now.
a very long time. When I started in 2021, he'd been there for a while. He started with the juniors program there and has maybe played all of his Ultimate. I think he had another club, maybe Créteil's son, but I can't be sure. But another club for maybe 1 year in his real youth days. And then Izno through and through. Allers and Wall City trying to get one in here. Jorgensen's back to Allers.
I mean, there's certainly some pride at stake for Izno here because they did make EUCF, just about snuck in on the last day of the season last year. Beat Heidi's by essentially a point in some game along the way would have been enough for the Germans to leapfrog them and take that final EUCF spot. And then Izno, having earned that spot, could only come last at the big dance.
Yeah, a tough series, of course, the European club circuit. And Jorgensen's does see that one in. They'll bring it 1 point closer. 7-10, 56.5 minutes into the game.
Jurgensen's is a really handy player. When Salisbury's got the bronze medal at WBUCC last year, he was arguably their best player, despite all the big names on that roster. You know, thinking about, you know, your Orlovskis, your Abeltinch, and those famous Latvians, Ben Zorts and Justins Fords.
Wait, those aren't Latvians, Benji. You're lying to me.
I'm just stretching the truth
Oh,
slightly.
yes. The Englishman
Everyone
Justin
knows that Ben
Ford.
is Belgium. That's why he played with Belgium U20 back at WJUC back in the day.
Ah, I did actually not know that he played with the Belgian under-20.
So did Arvids, actually.
Really? Arvids Karklins.
Yes, of course.
And
Mea culpa on that one. But Jurgensen, he's a real live wire. He has that ability to just run through teams, and for not a big guy, he's incredibly athletic.
Yeah, exceptional speed and always chewing gum while he plays.
Not for me.
Yeah, I just fear choking on it.
I just fear gum generally. I hate the stuff.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan either, but certainly not while I play.
How are you supposed to be a good coach, Steph, if you don't relentlessly chew gum? We need to work on your mastication skills.
You know, there's chewing tobacco.
Oh, yeah, you need to get you a proper spit stone as well.
No, I'm
Lovely.
not going anywhere near there. I'm done coaching, Benji. I'm a commentator. Ruyat comes across Udomfong. Now Nguyen. High, nice take by Fenrich. Nguyen gives a great little dance move and gets on the inside of Zayons. And the next throw is easy. Udomfong in the corner. It's time for a Slurpee celebration there, Benj. 7-11 the scoreline. Izno in front by 4 with a minute and a half to play.
They got them tight on that sideline, and somehow with, I mean, maybe a foot of space to get into, they find a way for Nguyen to just weasel and burrow his way underneath the cut of Zayons. Creates a little bit of space on the line, and then the next throw to Udomfong is wide open for Iznogood. And the lead feels wide right now. 4 points up, a minute left before the cap comes on. It's now or never time for Wall City, let's be real.
The Maison Rouge comprised of Iznogood and Yaka, who you see warming up there.
Yeah, we're streaming the last round of women's pool play up next, and Yaka taking on Ithini. Yes.
Wait, you mispronounced that, Benji.
No, I do not have a lisp. It's Ithini because it's not just the Londoners. They've got a little bit of international flavour. Notably, they've gone across the Irish Sea for a decent contingent of the roster.
All right, so they've changed their name just a little bit. It's a different iteration.
Exactly.
I see.
No, Ithi.
Jurgensen's with the disc. Spins and was well covered up initially, then gets it to Ben Joseph. There's the horn. And we will finish this point and add 1.
So we're looking
playing
at
to 13 or 12.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry for cutting you off there, Ben.
Sorry for cutting you off.
Okay, well, I love that we're so sorry with one another. It's very Canadian of us. Ben Joseph with the disc. Fires deep, Linnemaniston's all alone and will milk it in. We're playing to 12. It is 11-8 after that one.
That's my guy there, ULTI.TV's own Yoel Ben Yosef. He was imploring, pleading his teammates, give me something underneath. It's so static downfield. Eventually, Venderholm slashed across from the far side. 1, 2, 3 is no defenders clamped up. And Ben Yosef said, well, this is great, because now I can step out and I can throw this wonderfully shapely inside-out flick. You see the forces quite square up on the hip, and it means he can step forward to create that inside-out angle, the scoop. And it cuts across him, forward into the path of Linnemanston, who chases it down into the end zone. Beautiful IO flick cut from Ben Yosef. And Wall City, well, it's going to have to be a 4-point run from here, 5 in total, to upset Iznogood. Given that they've not got a break yet all game, that's Feels unlikely, Steph, but you never know.
It's a big ask, but you never know.
You never know.
The Izno O-line has been very tidy throughout the game. I see them being able to put it away here, but I've certainly been wrong on many occasions.
You see, Steph, I've never been wrong. That's the thing.
Oh, you lie well.
I wouldn't know. I've never lied either.
Oh, my God. And you just keep doing it, Benji. And you just keep at it.
Skill issue, Steph.
No, there's no skissue here. Nguyen with the disc. Goes across to Peters. Peters finds middle and a bobble and a drop at a Fenderish.
He was just looking at the next option.
Brand goes back. And Brand again. Leads forward. Vilekis goes back. Wall City in the red zone. Back to Brand. With the high socks to Riedlo. Riedlo inside. Gets it back again. Riedlo blades to the back. And the first break of the game for Wall City comes with their backs against the wall. 11-8 the score now.
Not so much the blade as the direct knife on that occasion. Just zings it to the back of the end zone, sees the coverage in the middle, and sees over and past it. We can't go around it, we can't go through it. We'll have to go over it, Steph. That's exactly what he does. With this precision stab through over all the traffic to the back of the end zone. And I think that it brings Wall City to within 2. And the gap is narrowing. You've got your first break, and that does give you that little bit of belief. I'm not sure Iznogood will be panicking just yet, though.
No, it's no time to hit the button.
When you were coaching, did you have an actual panic button that you could press and be like, okay, lads, now is the time that we really got to firm up?
Yeah, no panic button. I'm getting info coming in. Rico Becker letting me know that Udomfong did play for Ultimate Vibration UV prior to Izno, but otherwise has been Izno through and through. Thanks for the info, Rico.
Yeah, Rico probably one of Iznogood's most famous sons, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Sad to see him out, but I know he's studying, becoming a doctor, and a new father.
Yeah, he's got a fair amount on his plate, I think.
Yeah, indeed. And a new dog dad. Well, new, I say, a year or so with both child and dog.
That's
maybe
not a cat.
2. It's not a cat, it's a dog.
Sad.
Nguyen with the disc to Riyad. Back to Quavu. And bounce to Bouchon.
I like the idea here from the Wall City defense to try and slow them down. They want to suck the vibes and the air out of Izno.
Riyad back to Nguyen and around through Devois, Bouchon, and back to Devois. And Benji, they have taken the pace away right now, and almost a focus error there. Quavu collects it, another required play to be made. Now the flipper, Perus to Bouchon on the far sideline. Pop pass, Benji. Fenriche right back to Bouchon, and Fenriche, Quavu. Now they're moving. Ruyard, will they open up? It seems inevitable, but not quite yet. Ruyard. Back to Devois, Benjamin Fenriche. Fakes and goes straight back. Let's get out of trouble, he says. Ruyard. Scuba to Bouchon, and they're in for the game. And are they? Maybe not. Now they're in for the game. Bouchon somehow prevents himself from spiking. And Iznogood are moving on to the quarterfinals here at Tom's with a 12-9 victory over the Berliners.
Yeah, they had more than enough on this occasion. A slightly short-handed Wall City, unable to keep up with La Maison Rouge from Noisy-le-Sec. We'll see Iznogood in the quarterfinals, where they have the Belgium under-24 open side waiting for them. A mouth-watering matchup that.
Mouth-watering matchups all over the place now. Quarters.
That might be the waffles.
They have mouth-watering matchups with the waffle trays, with the chocolate, the beers, and certainly with ULTI.TV coming up next. And we will have the last 2 game slots of the day will be open quarters. So keep your eye peeled to see which ones get selected for stream. And with that, we will find our way out of here. Thank you for being with us, for being in the chats, for hitting that like button. If you haven't, there's still a moment right now for all of the crew here and for Benji Reese. I've been Stefan Rapazzo. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, Ultimate.
ULTI.TV.
Just met the other night, but I can't get you off my mind. Not a smooth talker under pressure. Sweaty palms ain't making it much better. Something